Fabulous. Okay, thank you so much for doing this. I just think it's really helpful for people to hear from the client what their experience was like. So thank you very much.
Sure, no problem, Nikki.
And just to kick off with, can you just sort of explain what made you get in touch with me to start with, the sort of the problems, the issues, how you felt? Yeah, just explaining why we started working together.
Yeah, sure. So last year I went for an annual medical checkup at the doctor's, and like they done my height and my weight, etc. And my BMI had hit 30.1. And although I didn't feel massive, I was like, oh my God, that, that's in the obesity range. I really need to do something about this, not just for myself, but for my, for my health, as well as the way I was looking, and I was feeling really fat and bloaty and horrible. So I decided to join the gym with a friend. So I was going to the gym, I was doing spin a couple of times a week, I was doing lots of other like cardio and a bit of balance and stuff. And I was doing that for about 4 months or so. And in that 4 months, I probably lost 6-7 pounds, not really much at all. So, I was a little bit disheartened with the whole thing. And then I get a company medical once a year as well of my private healthcare. And I went along to that. And again, they mentioned my weight, even though I'd lost a little bit. So it sort of just really triggered that I really needed to do something. And I obviously wasn't able, or wasn't getting anywhere by myself. And then I saw some of your posts on LinkedIn. So I thought, right, let's reach out and actually do something about it. Last year I invested in my learning, and I thought, this year I'm going to invest in getting healthy.
Brilliant. And obviously it worked, because you lost over 12 kilos, I think, in 12 weeks.
12 and a half, yeah. Yeah.
And you lost 4% body fat.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's your BMI now?
24.1.
Which
is now back in the normal bracket. So yeah, not even in overweight. So yeah, in the normal bracket. So I'm really, really happy with the results.
Fabulous. And in terms of thinking about like where you started and where you are now, what do you think is the biggest changes, either physically or in habits or emotions or anything?
So I do a lot more walking, which the dog is loving. Now get regularly nagged for extra walks. So that's really good. What was the other part of the question? Sorry.
Just basically what's changed in terms of anything, basically.
Okay, so yeah, I'm doing a lot more walking. I'm doing obviously strength training now, as opposed to all that cardio that I really didn't enjoy and was getting me no results. So that's really good. And I don't sit around as much as well. Even when I'm working, I'll get up and just walk for a couple of minutes, just have a stretch, etc. as well. So definitely not as what was the correct word to use, sedentary. I'm not, I'm a lot more active.
And what do you feel about the change in maybe your nutrition habits?
Yeah, I mean, I learned that a lot of my bads were my free sugars in my tea. That really wasn't helping. I would use a lot of sauces on my meals, a lot of mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, which I didn't realize were quite so high in calories, a lot of butter, a lot of those sort of things that are only small things, but when you're having them with all meals, all really add up, and, probably eat up half your calorie allowance for the day, which, I was aware, but not quite aware of how much of an effect they have on, what you do. So just by sort of making those little changes has brought the amount of calories down the day that I eat. So that's good.
And how do you feel like your body's changed?
Oh, massively. Obviously, I've lost 12.5 kilos. And I'm a lot slimmer. The whole shape has changed as well. And, you know, my weight's more evenly distributed across my body as well now, whereas a lot of it was sitting around my belly.
And in terms of mindset, do you feel like anything has kind of shifted in that?
Yeah, definitely. I think about things before I eat them, you know, and I think, you know, do I really need that? Am I just eating it for the sake of eating it? Or am I eating because I'm hungry? So I'm thinking a lot more, you know, I was never a snacker or anything like that, or a binge eater, but, you know, I might think, oh, because I'm having a cup of tea with that, I have a couple of Jaffa cakes or whatever. But now I'm thinking, do I actually need those to fuel my body? No, so I don't have them. So those sort of things have, you know, really changed.
And would you say there's one thing that's been like kind of the biggest learning, or?
Just my biggest learning really is that my body works well on more protein, lower carbs. So I've worked out how I can get the most protein for the least amount of calories. And that's what works really well for me. And that's what I continue.
But do you feel like, obviously you've changed the way you eat, but do you feel like you've denied yourself? Do you feel like you've deprived yourself, or how's it felt in terms of the eating?
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't feel deprived at all. You know, obviously the first couple of weeks are quite strict, but that's a reset. So, you know, that's fine. I knew, you know, at first there might be some restrictions, but, you know, you soon move on to the next stage of the program. You get more built backing, and then, you know, when you move on to your calories and your macros targets, then no, if you want that treat and you've got the calories, then go for it. And sometimes when I thought, you know, oh, I wonder, you know, I'll just try, you know, XYZ, and I've, you know, that, like the Jaffa cakes, for instance, the Jaffa cake bars, didn't actually enjoy it. And then I thought, so why did I have that in the first place? You know, so yeah, no, I didn't feel deprived. And when I have tried to add those little things in back in, you know, within the calories, not actually wanted them. So
But
yeah,
you still manage to have treats. They're just different treats now, aren't they?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I have a bit of dark chocolate every now and again. Or the other day I had some calorie budget and I fancied something sweet, so I had a Milky Way, you know, minimal calories. But, you know, there's a lot more carbohydrate in that, obviously, but, you know, I can have it. I haven't felt deprived at all for the 12 weeks. And sometimes my other half looks at my meals and is like, I thought you was on a diet. Look at the size of that meal. I said, yeah, but I said, it's all healthy, you know. So no, not deprived at all.
Brilliant. And in other ways, you know, in lifestyle changes, do you feel like it's been difficult to make the positive changes, or?
No, not at all. I just make sure that, you know, I fit in everything I need to do. I go for a longer walk with the dog in the morning. I make myself go out at lunchtime rather than catching up on emails. And if I'm not doing a workout that night, he gets the third walk. You know, if I'm really stuck for steps, I'd walk up and down the house. But, you know, most of the times I'm getting outside and, you know, getting the steps in. I thought 10,000 was going to be hard. Most days last week I was doing 12.5 or 15,000. So, you know, it's not been hard to fit that in. You've just got to make the time. And like one of the things that you posted once about when you was at the railway station waiting for the train, instead of just standing there, walk up and down, get some steps in. You know, there's always ways that you can fit in those steps in that time.
And what do you think would have happened if we hadn't started working together?
I'd still be fat and miserable. I mean, everyone used to say to me, oh, you're not big. But, you know, in my 20s and 30s, I was only ever 8 stone, and then getting up to sort of like 12 and a half stone, which was like 80 kilos, you know, was big for me, you know. And, you know, my confidence was lower. And now I'm just so much happier, healthier, and I really feel fitter and stronger, you know. And if I hadn't worked with you, yeah, I still feel I'd be searching through the internet going, oh, let's try this or let's try that. But your program gave me that structure. And that's, I think, what I needed was the structure and the accountability. I think that's a massive part, is feeling accountable to someone every week. So yeah, I don't think I would have done this without the program. Definitely not.
And of course, you were fantastic support to other people in our group. I think you got a lot from it, but you brought so much to it that I think other people really gained from your fabulous positive attitude, as well as your successes, which inspired other people, I think.
Yeah, I did like posting the messages, you know. Part of it, yeah, of course, it was, oh my God, look at how well I've done. But, you know, especially when you've got new people starting, you know, and you want to say to them, look, you know, if I can achieve it, someone that used to have 3 sugars in their tea and drink tea all day long, and I barely touch tea now, can lose all of this weight and do it, then yeah, you're on the right program. You can do it too. And, you know, setting up that WhatsApp group was really good, Nikki. So yeah.
I think you've kind of answered this in the question that you've already just given, but I guess my last thing I'd probably ask you was, what would you say to anyone if they're kind of on the fence about whether they think it's worth investing in themselves, trying to make the positive changes? Do it.
It's the best investment I've ever made, seriously. I wouldn't hesitate to say to anyone, you know, it's worth every penny. Definitely. I'm so happy I did it. At first I was like, oh, do I really want to spend all this money on myself? But it was just like, no, do it. You need to do it. And yeah, best investment I've ever made. So yeah, I'm really happy. So I'd say, go on, do it. You won't regret it.
Brilliant. Thank you. I've covered everything I wanted to ask. And I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to say, or any questions you expected me to ask, or?
No, I think, you know, we've covered everything. I'm just happier, healthier, stronger. And yeah, I've got a whole new confidence about me. I feel, you know, more in, I don't want to say in charge, but I feel more in control, because I've got the knowledge, because that's really good. The weekly stuff that you put in the learning portal as well, and the weekly calls, you know, where you're doing the teach, that's, you know, really important, and it really gives you perspective on things. I think probably my favorite one was the swaps, how much is in this and how much is in that, you know, and getting us to guess, and, you know, really learning about food. As well as, instead of just saying, here's a diet, follow that, you know, you taught us, so you're equipping us with the, you know, the tools that we need to have, you know, good nutrition and carry on, you know. Yeah, so brilliant. All that knowledge is here now, I just continue to use it.
Fabulous. And I know you will, because the whole way through you've been so proactive, you've embraced all the learning, it's really empowered you to make good choices. You've been so positive about it. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, because you've been amazing. You've really supported other people as well as achieving great success yourself. So I'm just so glad that you took that step and worked together.
Me too. Thanks to you, Nikki.
All right, I'm going to press stop on the recording now. Cool. Thank you so much.